You are welcome. You are all welcome to today's lecture, History of Biology Education. We shall be starting today's lecture by looking at the philosophical issues in biology education. When we say philosophical issues in biology education, this refers to deep conceptual questions about the nature of biology, studies that arise within the context of teaching and learning biology. That is, some deep questions that arise on certain concepts within the context of teaching and learning of biology. Philosophical issues in biology education examines, or it also involves examining the philosophical implications of biological concepts within the classroom setting. That is, when biological concepts within the classroom setting, when you have deep questions, critical questions being asked on these biological concepts. We're going to look at few examples of this. For example, uh, something on what constitutes life. What constitutes life? That is, what is life? Biologists have given explanation that yes, like for example in mammals, that it is one cell and the other that comes together to form a zygote and later develop, and after some time becomes an individual, and that individual now has what we refer to as life. But biologists also seek to understand the origin. That's what is, we say that they have life, but what is the origins of life? What the extent of life in the universe, and they also seek to explore the possibilities of artificial forms of life. That is why nowadays you have what you refer to as transgender and all whatnot. Then another example is biological explanation. You say scientists seek to uncover things, that is why things happen the way they do. That is, they seek to ask questions, deep questions on why do things happen the way they do. The philosophical scientific explanation have been complicated. That is, it has been so much complicated asking or trying to answer such questions, and this has actually enriched actually been enriched by attention to explain, with different strategies in biology. Now, another example is what we refer to as biological models. There are philosophical issues on biological models. When we talk about biological models are models that are used to represent concepts in biology. That is, when they want to study, when something want to study something, they now have something models representing this particular biological system or principle. So these models, there are philosophical questions on, are these models represent reality, or they have limitations? That is, maybe they represent realities to a particular level or particular percentage, and the rest is plus or minus, that is maybe or maybe not. We also have philosophical issues on topics of evolutionary, especially the nature of evolutionary biology. I said this sometimes ago, that evolution is usually defined, or it deals with or explains that organisms evolve, one group of organisms evolve from one another. Like for example, we have Pisces, that is fish. We have amphibia, that is examples like a frog. We have a reptilia. You know, evolutionary biology will explain or will tell you that yes, amphibians evolved from, that is, they came and evolved. That means that after some time, some amphibians change to become, that's what we mean by evolve. That is, they evolved from Pisces. Reptilia evolved from amphibia, and the apes, that is the birds, evolved from on and on and on like that. But we have philosophical issues on this. Is evolution a fact? That is, this explanation, for example, is it a fact or just a theory? We have discussions, that is, we have experts discussing the evidence for evolution and the distinction between scientific facts and theory. They try to look at it that is there any scientific fact backing this up, or is just a theory or an assumption? Sometimes they even say is that it is borderline between historical and experimental science. That is, maybe like it is history or it is experimental. It is lying in between the two. And there's also the claim that evolutionary biology is a predictive science based on rigorous mathematical foundations. That is, based on some mathematical involvement. That is, mathematics that are involved there. So the nature of evolutionary biology is also part, or is also one of those things that you could refer to as philosophical issues. Another issue that is under philosophical issue, or another concept that is under philosophical issues in biology education, is the nature of natural selection. There's this question that is natural selection a purely mechanistic process, or does it involve teleological aspect? That is it something that is physical? That is it a physical process, or is it something that is based on goals and purpose? That is it something that you see, or what do you refer it to? You know, when we talk about natural selection, the natural selection simply means that naturally in an environment or in a community, you have some things that are available and some things that are not available. So when we say the nature of natural selection is purely mechanistic, we have philosophical explanation based on this. So it's also one of the examples of philosophical issues in biology education. Now, you also have debates on the power and the scope of adaptation. Adaptation simply means the ability of an organism to be able to adjust to the environment where it finds itself due to the possession of certain features, structures, or characteristics. So there's this debate that how often do we invoke adaptation to explain the features of biological world? So that is, when we are talking about biology, when we are talking about organisms, how do we continue to explain everything with adaptation, or is it a feature, or what? Then we also have another example, which is biology and religion. Biology and religion, I know every one of you will understand this one very well. There was a time that somebody asked, one of my students asked a question that, but scientists don't believe in God. No, it is not that scientists don't believe in God. Scientists believe in God. It's just that you have philosophical questions about some science concepts, some biological concepts. For example, the theory of evolution, like I've mentioned the other time, is central to organizing principle of a modern biology. Evolution provides a scientific explanation for why there are so many different kinds of organisms on Earth, and it will give account of why they are similar. You know, like the examples that I've given to you. When we begin to, if you begin to give explanation now, or we say the evolution explains that it is the pelvic fin and the pectoral fin of Pisces, that is fish, that became the forelimb and the hind limb accordingly in the amphibians. So that's type of explanation, but you know, they are not the same. They are different, and that is why we say that that's what evolution will say. Evolution will provide a scientific explanation on why we have different types of organisms, the similarities and the differences. The similarities, whether the similarities are morphological, physiological, or they are genetics. However, there are many people of faith all over the world. Just like me and you, we have different faiths. That is, we have different things that we believe in. But at the same time, with our belief, we say that yes, looking at the two common or the two identified religions in Nigeria, the Islamic religion and the Christian religion, identify that yes, God is the ultimate. So the two religions or the two faiths will tell you that God is the provider of life. God is the person that creates everything. God is the ultimate. He creates anything the way he wants and creates all living organisms. That is, he creates the animals, he creates the birds, he creates the plants, he creates human beings, he creates and he gave them names. So that is where we have philosophical questions about biology and religion. Now, let's quickly look at the importance of philosophical issues in biology education. The first thing I have here is that it encourages critical thinking. When you talk about physical issues in biology education, it involves deep questions. It involves critical thinking before deep questions could be brought out. So engaging with philosophical questions encourages individual to think critically, especially students, to think critically about biological concepts, not just memorize facts. Then another importance is that it helps in deep understanding. That is, examining the underlying assumptions in biology will give more understanding of that particular subject matter. Then another thing is that it helps in science literacy. That is, students, for example, become informed citizens that are capable of making informed decisions. You see, when you are really a science literate, that is, when you understand scientific knowledge, you will be able to make informed decisions on things that are science or issues that are science related. Now let's look at the need to study biology. The first point that I put here is that it is fun to study biology. It is actually fun to study biology. And I want to stay here that the only discipline that you can appreciate nature, the only discipline that you enjoy, that makes you to understand nature, makes you to understand even your God, makes you to understand the varieties of life is biology, and it is fun. If you by the time you'll be able to see, you'll be able to learn that yes, you have organisms living in different environment and coping. The very first time I find myself by the side of a lagoon and I saw a starfish and a jellyfish, I was surprised that wow, so it is true. The starfish all actually looks like a star, and it's a fish and it's moving. The other one, the jellyfish, I was looking just like, the petroleum jelly. I was looking, I was wondering that wow, and this thing is moving. At two different times that I saw all these things, I was excited. In fact, I would say that I was over excited. I was an undergraduate then, so I had to watch each of them and ensure that they actually move. That was what convinced me then that they were actually living organisms after being taught in the classroom. Another thing is that studying biology helps to understand the living world around. You are able to understand the living world around. You are able to understand, when we say living world, that is things that are living, that are alive around. You'll be able to understand that. Another thing is that it helps to understand life processes. That is, the processes about life. You explore how organisms grow. That is, you are able to understand how organisms grow, even including yourself. You are able to understand the metabolic activities within the body, like the catabolism, anabolism. You are able to understand how organisms respond to stimuli, even how you too is able to or will be able to respond to stimuli. Another good or another need to study biology is for medical advancement. The study or the knowledge of biology gives information in medicine. So the more knowledge of biology, that is the more knowledge of organisms that are given, especially human beings, the more you have medical advancement. So in biology you gain knowledge to develop new treatments, gain knowledge to diagnose diseases, gain knowledge to understand human physiology. You understand how your body works and how the body of some other organisms work. The study of biology also creates environmental awareness. You are aware as an individual in the studying of ecosystem, species interactions, and the impact of human activities on the environment. That is, the activities on our environment. What you can do that can affect your environment, what you should not do, so that your environment will be fine, what you can do to affect your environment, to impact your environment positively. All these things are what you gain in the study of biology. Another thing is that biology has great entrepreneurship potentials. Biology has great entrepreneurship potentials. It's unfortunate that many don't know that biology has great entrepreneurship potentials. Of all the living organisms that are in this world, the knowledge of all these living organisms are being provided by biology, and as by the study of biology, and as all this and as the knowledge is being provided, then that means that you can also produce any of all these organisms. You can produce any of all these organisms. You can even be maybe like a consultant. If you don't want to produce anyone, you can be a consultant to whoever that is producing this. It could be what we call horticulture. That is, it could be the growing of ornamental plants. What a layman we call flower, we call them ornamental plants. It could be so many. You have so many things. It could be based on what you could eat, the natural thing that you could eat, that is the nutrition aspect. You have so many entrepreneurship potentials in biology. That is your ability to be able to turn the knowledge of biology to something that will bring in money to you, to something that is financial. Now let's look at another thing here before I go to that one, is that biology creates career opportunities. Biology opens doors to careers. There's so many careers, like for example, it opens doors to careers in medicine. Mention any career in medicine, whether it is pure medicine or it is a medical. You have I think some medical, whether it is medicine or it is human. They have basic health sciences, nursing, in dentistry, even if it's veterinary medicine, if it is pharmacy, if it is pharmacology. Mention any one of them. Biology is important, and that is why when anyone wants to gain admission to all this, when anyone is seeking admission to any aspect of a career in medicine, biology is always required, and that is one of the first subject that will be required. Then the next one is the next career opportunity is research. It gives opportunity for one to become a researcher. You choose your aspect. Then it opens career into biotechnology. Biotechnology is just application of technology into biology. It is, for example, is biotechnology that has helped to be able to have what we discover nowadays, that is very common, that we call a surrogacy. That is, if someone cannot bear children on her own, they can always take the cells of the husband and the cells of the wife, put them together in one place, and when fertilization takes place, they continue to nurture them until after some time and put it in another person that has the house. That knowledge is the knowledge of biology, and what we call it like is, what they try to do in that aspect is like what we refer to as culturing. That is, you are trying to make an organism to grow, especially in the lab. Another career opportunity that this course creates is agriculture. It creates open career opportunity in agriculture, different aspects. Opens career opportunities or creates career opportunities in conservation. Then even in teaching, that is in biology, in teaching of biology or an aspect of biology. Biology is so wide, you have so many aspects under it. I mentioned it to you the other time that biology is wide because it studies living organisms, and you have so many living organisms, and it's not just studying the organisms but studying the makeup, that is the life processes, studying all the physiology and everything about all these organisms. And that is why we also have different areas of biology. We have different areas of biology, like you have molecular biology, that is the one that studies the parts of the body at the cellular level, the molecules that made up the cells of the body. We have genetics, which is the study of how organisms passes the characteristics, features from organism, from parents to offspring, that is from generation to generation. We also have microbiology, which is the study of microorganisms, that is organisms that are very small, that you cannot see with your naked eyes. One thing is that most of these organisms are the ones that are responsible for most of the diseases that occurs or that attack man, and that is why you agree with me that it's important to study these ones. We also have ecology. Ecology is the study of organisms and how they interact with their environment. We also have evolutionary biology. Evolutionary biology, that one is the study of evolution, that is how organisms evolve from one generation to the other. We also have developmental biology. Developmental biology is talking about how organisms develop from the cellular level to the final level. Of course, we also have botany, which you also all know which you already know as the study of plants, and we also have zoology, which is the study of animals. So I think on that